Well, Steve, we're back again with another episode of the Steel Target Paint Podcast. How you been?
Doing well, Jeff. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. By the time this airs, the West Florida Steel Challenge Championships will have been in the books, but this is the week before, and we are getting the range ready and can't wait for all the shooters to come down and have a great match.
All right. Did you bring in a nice cold front for me? Because I looked at the forecast this weekend, and it is supposed to be hot.
The best cold I'm going to be able to provide is an ice cold bottle of water.
All right. I've got my Diva fan, so I'm prepared for this weekend.
Fantastic. Well, everyone, we have a special guest. I'm going to let Steve introduce him. He reached out and he agreed to be on the podcast. So, Steve, take it away.
We've got Rick Leach here with us. He is the National Director of the Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation. Welcome, Rick. Glad to have you.
Welcome. I'm glad you guys invited me. Thank you.
So I see that you've done some shooting in your career, and typically what Jeff and I do, we start off with a shooting tip. Do you have any shooting tips you'd like to share with our audience?
I deal with youth shooting, so the biggest thing I always tell our kids when I coach is I remind them to breathe, and that front thing on the gun, that front sight, that they need to put that on the target someplace. That's usually the best advice I can give them, because we got great shooters. They just kind of forget that when they start to shoot fast.
I had that exact conversation this week with a very fast junior shooter. His split times were fantastic, but I did have to remind him that little dot on the end of the barrel, that's called a front sight, and using it from time to time can definitely help the scores go down.
That it does.
All right, so tell the audience, what is the Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation?
Well, the Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation is a 501c3 charitable organization that oversees two programs, our Scholastic Clay Target Program, which is trap, skeet, and sporting clays, and the international disciplines for those. And then the program that I'm the national director of is the Scholastic Action Shooting Program, which is a youth development program where we use the shooting sports to develop youth and teach leadership to the kids in our program.
Well, that's great. And they are all steel plates that you use during this Scholastic Action Shooting Program?
They are. We shoot white steel plates, and we spray a whole lot of steel target paint on them too. So, because our kids shoot them up pretty good because our events are so large.
And we do appreciate that. So when you say youth, what are the age limits to be involved in this program?
We start in grade school and we go all the way through until you graduate from college.
Oh, no kidding. So it's just not limited to high school.
No, and it's the college side is kind of amazing. We've got colleges that give scholarships, two off the hand that I can think of. One, Bethel University in Tennessee, another one, Concordia University in Wisconsin. They give grants or scholarships, and the part that's making me think I want to go back to college is they pay for all your ammo, all your entry fees, all your target fees, everything when you compete also.
Is there an age limit to this, or you just have to go be in college?
You just got to be in college. So if you guys want to go back and work on a degree, I got a couple schools we can send you to talk to.
I'll have more degrees than a thermometer, but hey, I'll have my shooting sports addiction funded for the next couple of years, so that is A-okay in my book. So what divisions are there in the Scholastic Action Shooting Program?
We have rimfire pistol. We have centerfire pistol, which we basically follow IDPA's stock service pistol, so we kind of keep a level playing ground. And then we have a 1911 division. We have rimfire rifle iron and rimfire rifle optic divisions. And then this year at our nationals, we added pistol caliber carbine, and that was a lot of fun.
You know, that's my personal favorite. I love shooting PCC. So do you guys shoot the same stages every time, similar to a steel challenge type format?
We do. We shoot 4 stages. You shoot them 5 times. You keep your 4 best times. We drop your worst string. But we've added 2, and now this year we're adding a 3rd substitute stage so that we can, depending on the match, they can freshen it up and throw a different stage at you, so you don't have to learn 4, now you have to learn 7. But it gives them ability to mix it up a little bit and make it a little more interesting for the kids.
Got a question.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Rick, in the SASP you have standardized plates. Do you also have a classification system similar to Steel Challenge?
We don't. We based ours more on a school model, so it goes by your age, not by your ability, so that it's ready fit for, we have school districts that offer our shooting program as a school sport, and kids are lettering in shooting sports in high school and middle school. They're participating. So it's based on your age, not really your ability. So we've got some kids that are middle school kids that are out there beating the adults on the Steel Challenge side and are just kind of superstars in our program.
Excellent. Thank you.
So where do we go to find out because Rick, I've got 2 daughters. My oldest is 11, my little one's 8. How do I find out in my area if there's a SASP program available?
You can go to our website, SSSF, 3 S's and an F, so Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation is what it stands for, online.com, or you can give me a call and we'll look it up for you and let you know what we have in your area.
Oh, that's great.
Rick, why don't you give me your number?
262-894-4284.
So I read out online that you were recently promoted to the National Director of January this year. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So what does that mean? What do you do in your role day to day?
Well, we have 2 full-time staff members, so I do a lot. Ours is everything from the fundraising aspect as a national director, working with our industry partners. I mean, we've got a couple small companies that are founding partners of our group, and you might have heard of them. One's called Glock, one's called Action Target, the National Rifle Association, and then this Ruger company, and just a couple small players in the field. But they're
Rick,
just our founding partners.
I got to Google those real quick. Okay, carry on.
Okay, yeah, you might find something about them. But besides them, we've got a lot of other partners, Steel Target Paint and others that help support our program and our initiative. So we work with them, trying to raise the money to run the program. It's setting up the matches, growing the teams. We have a director of development, Kelvin Walton, who works with me, and he works more on the match and the growing the teams now, which used to be my job when I was director of development. So it's just kind of, we do everything, jack of all trades and master of none.
Somehow I know how that goes.
Rick, let me ask you, you mentioned team. So is this not only just an individual sport, but also a team sport?
It's actually a team sport, and we recognize individuals for individual accomplishments, but it is a team sport. So your team can have as many competitive squads as you want on it, but you compete as a competitive squad of 4. So that's what kind of makes it fit into the school system. Instead of just being an individual sport, it's actually a team sport. So you get those rivalries where, crosstown schools, beat each other in football or basketball, and now they're doing it in the shooting sport.
And what the amazing part is these teams are competing across the nation. There's a lot of people that cross over from SASP into Steel Challenge. So there's Jake over on the West Coast. You have Ethan down in Texas and Annie over in Alabama. So a lot of those folks that I shoot with recently participated in your national championships a couple weeks ago. How did that go, Rick?
It went well. We became the largest steel match in history and the largest youth action shooting. GSSF has still had a little bit bigger match than we've had. We'll get them next year with that. But, yeah, largest match in history. We had over 500 athletes compete and 1,200 entries. So it went really great. And we even actually had some kids who defied the odds of what we thought when we started this program 5 years ago. We programmed in some fail-safes into our software so that people couldn't enter a score that was too low. And Nate out of Iowa, and you mentioned Ethan, they broke the system because they shot sub 30 times, and we never thought any kid would get that fast. And now we've got kids that are shooting sub 30 times. So they actually locked the system up, and we had to figure out what went wrong when they did it.
Gotta love curve breakers.
Well, that's amazing, and congratulations on such a successful match. What type of participation do you forecast for next year? Do you think it's going to be in that 1,500, 1,600, 1,700 range?
I sure hope so. I need 300 more entries to pass that GSSF match from a few years ago. So that's my goal. And with it's good banter since Glock is a founding partner that we go back and forth. That I'm going to pass them too. Just give me a little time.
It's interesting because I actually participated in that GSSF match a couple of years ago. So I wish you the best in knocking it out of the park. That's exciting stuff for sure.
We're doing it with kids. That's the amazing part to me. There's no sponsored shooters, no adults. This is kids that are showing out in these kind of numbers with mom and dad and brothers and sisters in tow. They put like a $16 million economic impact on Ohio, where we showed up for our nationals between our clay target and our action shooting program. So kind of a great thing we're doing that way too.
Wow, $16 million? Is that what you said, Rick? $16 million?
That's what they tell us. Yeah.
That's exciting stuff. That's amazing.
Rick, let me ask you this. With someone, we've got a number of listeners. We're breaking the 200 mark and growing every episode. So we're going to have a lot of shooters out there that are listening that have kids that might be interested in getting involved and helping their schools get involved. So when they contact you, do you have ways, packets that the schools can get to understand what it is that they're getting involved in and how much involvement it's going to take to put together a team?
We do, and I'm actually a school board member in my community, so I get how school board members look at things, and one of the biggest things that we have going for our organization, both our clays and our action shooting, is it's very economical. It's $20 an athlete, $30 for a coach, and with that, you get $5 million worth of liability insurance, and that's the big thing school districts look at is, what's kind of liabilities on this for us. So right there, we're going to cover the $5 million of insurance, which is probably higher than many of them have for some of the other sports. Yet we're one of the safest sports out there. NSSF did a study where shooting sports are actually safer than recreational walking. So no concussions.
They must have seen me walk.
That's it. I just have to be careful when I'm walking on the range, right? So that I don't screw up those numbers for us.
Keep the head on a swivel. So what did you do prior to SSSF? I read online, don't take me as a stalker, but I read online that you retired from the police department. Yeah, right.
I did. I retired as a police sergeant. I spent 31 years as a police officer.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you for your service. I know that. I can't even imagine how tough of a job that is in today's environment.
It's changed over 31 years, I can tell you that.
I'm sure it has. So do you compete or do any sort of recreational shooting today?
Who has time for that? I try to. I've shot some GSSF matches and things in the past and done those things, but once my kids got me involved in coaching and then I got involved with the program and administering the program, I run out of time. I probably spend more time on a range than most people do, and I probably fire the least number of rounds. When my kids were competing on the team I coached, I used to have them load up their magazines one time at the end just so that I could relieve the spring tension for them before I put them away, just so that, I got a little bit of trigger time in also.
Is there anything about the SASP or SSSF that you have not shared that you would like our listeners to know about?
Fastest growing sport in high school right now is shooting sports, and most people don't know that. Number 2 is lacrosse, and we're a lot more fun, I think. And we're continuing trying to do that. We also we have an official agreement with USA Shooting, so we are actually the feeder program to the U.S. Olympic team. On the clay side, about 85% of the current U.S. Olympic team, the Kim Rohdes and Vincent Hancocks that are winning the gold medals, came from our program. And now my goal is that we're going to get our SASP kids to have an Olympic dream, and we're gonna nail some of those down too.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, if I got my girls involved in the sport and I find a school that is in the area, whether they have a program or not, what would you say the annual financial contribution will be as a parent that I would need to make for my daughter to participate in this type of program, the SASP?
It depends on what your daughter's going to shoot. If your daughter's shooting rimfire, it's pretty nominal. We've got teams out there that have team guns, so that, they do fundraising. We work with Midway USA Foundation, so they have Midway USA Foundation accounts. Potterfields put about half their income every year into youth shooting sports. And it gives us the ability to keep those costs down. So original looking at it, how much 22 ammo can you buy and how much can they shoot in a year if you have team guns? But otherwise, if you're looking, something as simple as a Mark IV or a Ruger 1022 will get you competing in our program and being fairly successful. And we know you shoot, so the firearms aren't an issue for your kids.
Right. No, they're not. It does get
An
expensive
excuse for
to feed
Dad
them,
to
though.
buy some more guns.
Hey, you know what? Over in the Foster household, we feed them Ely, so it could be a little bit more expensive, but the gun goes bang every time. So
Ely's a sponsor of ours, so that's good. I'm glad you're supporting them.
yeah, they are a fantastic organization. So let's talk about, because Jeff and I both shoot for Tandem Cross, and they make some fabulous upgrades for Ruger Mark IVs and other guns out there, but you mentioned the Ruger Mark IV. Are any upgrades allowed in SASP? And if so, which ones, or does it get more technical by division?
No, it actually is fairly easy, and I didn't know you guys shoot for Tandem Cross. They're actually a sponsor of ours, so I was just with the owners of the company. They were at Nationals, actually. They came down to visit.
Yeah, Brian and Jake are fantastic people.
Yep, Brian.
Don't tell them I said that.
Okay, I won't. Actually, you can't use their comps, which they're trying to convince me that we should. So we don't allow a comp on the 22s, but short of that, comp suppressed, and for the pistols, they can't have an optic. But besides that, you can trick them out pretty nice and get them running pretty good for you.
Oh, that's great. Can you put on a thumb rest by chance on the side of a gun, whether it's limited or open, meaning iron sight or optic?
You can. Yep.
Wow.
Matter of fact, there's a great video of Ethan shooting a 1911 at Nationals, and he had one on there. And you both work in our division, so.
Rick, let me jump back to one thing regarding equipment, and really good information on equipment for the shooter. But what would a range need to have? I mean, it's great to have the gun, it's great to have ammo, but you have to have something to shoot at. So if a school was either going to buy the product and have it on a range, or a range was going to say, we're going to allow SASP practices, how many plates, what size plates would they need so the kids could be practicing these stages?
Initially, our team who won the first, I coached actually the first two national title teams. We shot the whole season until 2 weeks before nationals on paper targets.
Wow!
So it's amazing a paper plate stuck on a pole to simulate a steel target can still give you the results for kids to shoot. But I mean, it's our stages are very similar to the same you would buy. Actually, less targets than you would buy for a typical steel challenge kit. They're very, very same. The people who actually started our program started Scholastic Steel Challenge first. So you can see a lot of similarities between the targets.
Excellent. So if someone's got a Steel Challenge set, they're more than likely
good to go.
Excellent.
They are good to go. And, I mean, we've got a lot of teams. We tell people, if your school doesn't want to start an original one, just go to a gun club, find a place to shoot, and get somebody who wants to be a coach, and, 3 or 4 kids, and start shooting. And it's as easy as starting a team that way. We've got teams we've got a mom in Ohio who, she started a team for her twin sons. They shoot with 2 ghost shooters, so they shoot in an open division because of having ghosts on their team. And Grandpa always jokes that he's the sponsor of the team because he pays for it. But that's all it took for them. It took Mom to be the coach and the 2 kids, and they're having a heck of a time. And actually, I think it was their age group. I think it was for Iron Rifle. One of the sons came in first for his age group, and the other one was third. They're twins, so they're doing okay.
Excellent. Well, this year your match was in Ohio, correct?
Yes.
Where's it going to be in 2019?
Ohio. We have 1 more year left of our contract there.
Okay, so they had a 2-year contract. Excellent.
Yeah, it was actually a 3-year contract.
3-year contract.
Yeah,
okay.
It was a 3-year contract. And we'll negotiate, and if things work out, we'll probably go back there. It's a privately owned facility. They built everything for us to come there after we had a run-in with the state of Illinois when they shut their range. So they've been really good to work with. So if we can go back there. We also run our college nationals. I know Steel Challenge was at CMP range, and that's where we run our college nationals in March, is at CMP down in Talladega.
So, Rick, do you have other state-level matches, or the Nationals is the big show?
No, we actually do. Every state has a state match that has a team. It has at least 2 teams. We do regional matches across the country. This year we're going to try to beef up the number of regional matches we do to give the kids more opportunity to shoot. We have a virtual series where you can actually shoot your scores on your home range and send them in, and then we randomly draw prizes, and then we do first, second, and third at the end of the year, and we kind of Lewis class it where you go halfway down and one more, and we'll do first, second, and third again, and we give out money to go into people's midway accounts to help support their teams. So we've got a lot of opportunities to shoot so that you're not, if you're a team that can't really travel, it gives you opportunities at home still to compete.
That's really great.
Well, as we're just talking here, Rick, I'm looking here on the site, and I didn't realize, Florida's a pretty well-represented state, and some of them pretty close to here, and I didn't even know about it. So going to have to reach out and see what we can do in this local area down here where I am in the Tampa, St. Pete area, and try to get something going down here.
Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe you should be a coach. Cuts into a little of your trigger time, but,
Steve will like that, then I'll spend more time coaching than I will shooting.
Rick, that's the best idea I've heard in at least an hour. How long is the season? So, you've got football season that's usually, it's in the fall, and then you got basketball in the winter. And is the SASP throughout the year, or is it only during a certain semester? How's that work, Rick?
It's actually year-round for us. We start September 1st, so we're just finishing up our season. Our nationals, our second weekend, starts the second weekend in July for junior, senior nationals. The colleges do theirs during spring break kind of time during March. But we run year-round. We've got, I'm from Wisconsin, so we have this thing called winter. So there's some months we can't shoot here because the rounds want to come back off of the berm at you. So like our team, we don't start shooting until probably February, March, and then we run it through July. So it's kind of each one customs how it fits for them. But even with winter, we're doing okay because every single centerfire national championship, senior centerfire championship has been won by the state of Wisconsin since our formation. So we're doing okay.
That's really cool. One of the shooters on the Steel Target Paint shooting team, we sponsor her dad reached out to me here not too long ago about this very program. So I'm going to make sure that he has access to this podcast, and certainly will reach out. He was looking to see what the program, number one, was all about, which I think we've walked through, and number two, wanted to know what was involved in getting involved. So I really appreciate your time today. I know that I learned a lot through our discussion, which I'm very thankful for.
Thanks for having me.
Jeff, do you have any other questions while we have Rick?
No, I think he answered all mine. I just, again, really appreciate his efforts in helping you shooting and really growing this sport. Kudos to having that size of a match this year, and hopefully next year's is bigger.
I hope so. And it's kind of cool because we kind of pattern ourselves because everything from ours is done from a cased firearm, no drawing, and so no holsters, anything like that. So we kind of pattern ourselves as we're the introductory. So then they can go on and shoot a lot of the other, USPSA, IDPA, all of that kind of stuff. And we've got some kids who I know you guys know who are in our program who are kind of ripping it up in the Steel Challenge area too. So we're pretty proud of them.
Yeah, next time keep them all in your program. They're coming over to ours and beating us.
Rick, if you'd like a list of names, just let me know after the podcast. I'll send you a list.
Okay.
No, it's been amazing just in the last 2 years in the Steel Challenge itself. We talked a little bit about it on the last podcast, and some of the younger folks are just, the times are getting fast and so fast. And in Steel Challenge, the 70-second marker used to be, hey, if you shot under 70 seconds, this last year at our nationals and then at the World Shoot, it was littered with people under 70 seconds. It's definitely getting quicker and quicker.
Yeah, it's getting amazing. And in both our programs, it's to the point now where I've got 2 kids who are have got national championships in SASP. Dad taught them to shoot, and with the long guns, I can't beat them anymore. And my handgun's about the only thing I can still keep up with them. But it's just amazing how good these kids are getting.
Well, really cool, and certainly, Rick, my hat goes off to you. for the amount of time and effort that you're putting into developing our youth into the love of the Second Amendment and the shooting sports. We need more people out in the industry such as yourself. So thank you for all that you do. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick.
Well, thanks. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
So, Steve, what have you been shooting in the last week?
Hey, Jeff, I shot the local Griffin Steel Challenge match, and those guys and gals out there, they put together such a great match. There was another 130-plus guns at the match. I was fortunate enough to place first in rimfire pistol open and first in rimfire rifle open, and for some reason, I was uncontested in single stack. I think more people need to shoot 1911 single stacks. It's one of my favorite divisions to shoot.
Yeah, the single stack's a great gun. I shot it in USPSA. And in steel, I've been very fortunate in the rimfire and the rifle environment. That may be a gun I have to pick up again, start working on that division. Open is so fat. And single stack, if you can do it in single stack, you can do it in any division. That is a tough division.
So, Jeff, what have you been shooting lately?
Well, this week has been a lot of setup for the match. I was fortunate enough, and Sunday went over to Ruskin and shot their USPSA match with the PCC. I was fortunate enough to come away with a win in that division and third overall behind a GM and a master in open. So I was pretty pleased with that. We talked earlier about the heat down in Florida, and it was hot. So make sure that anyone who's coming down to Florida to shoot in the coming months, make sure you've got long sleeves and a lot of water. Keep that sun off you. Steve, lots of products out there in the market, especially to help us shooters. Have you found anything lately?
Just when I thought I had a favorite product out there, rangestore.net has compressed air similar to what you've seen maybe for computers and that type of stuff. But Rainbow Technologies has what they call Rainbow Air. It's a bunch of happiness in a can. I'm telling you, there's some little crevices that maybe you're skipping a full detailed breakdown of your gun. And if there's something maybe in a trigger group or you spray something down real quick, put a little compressed air in there to make sure you got out all the little grit and grime that can be in a firearm. You never know, a little particle can have a negative impact on a trigger reset. So this compressed air from rangestore.net is something you have to have on your workbench.
That's great. Steve, I could actually see a benefit to that on the range. You shoot single stack in Steel Challenge, but a lot of people will shoot single stack in the USPSA, and you're dropping mags constantly. And you got to keep those mags clean, and this could be a really quick way to make sure you've got all the dirt and dust and junk out of a mag to make sure it feeds properly. So that's a great product. Thanks.
Jeff, do you have any tricks for us?
Yeah, Steve, thanks. One of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about is the plates that I, quote-unquote, drive by. If you actually watch the top shooters, just about everybody is stopping on every plate. They're stopping very fast, but they're stopping. There are a couple of plates, though, that really you can afford a drive-by and not impact a miss. One of those plates is the second plate and accelerator. It's only 10 yards away. It's an 18 by 24 inch plate. And when I say drive-by, I'm not talking about shifting from the first plate all the way to the fourth plate and hopefully getting a shot. But it's slowing down enough to make sure you're on target, taking the shot, and then moving on, and you're not actually stopping. And, a lot of people say that they never see their dot on Smoke and Hope. That may be true on some of the plates, but however way you shoot that stage, in most cases, the last plate you're going to shoot is either 1 or 4. And you better make sure that dot's on that plate or you're going to kill your time having to go back to pick up that one. So this is another case where it's maybe not a drive-by, but you better see your dot on that plate before you take that shot to make sure you're going to put down the best score you possibly could.
Jeff, that's a great tip because sometimes we think those 18-inch by 24-inch plates on Smoke and Hope are a give-me. Well, let's just say I've got the T-shirt, I've got the shoelaces, I've got the socks, I've got the hat. Yeah, it can get the best of us. We think that we can point and shoot at them, and we take them for granted. And nope, can't do that because you end up paying in the long run.
We need to make a shirt. I miss the plates on Smoke and Hope.
Maybe start a support group.
Exactly.
All right, Jeff, there's a lot of matches coming up. What are some of the favorites you have out on the schedule?
Well, the ones that I found that I think might interest people, again, on August 25th, we've got the Bonnie and Clyde match in Texarkana, Texas. September 1st, we have the Kentucky State match. And then we've mentioned it before, but again, on September 8th, we have the Area 6 match in Volusia County. And I know you're coming down to that, and I'm going to be shooting that, and there's going to be a lot of good shooters down there. So if you want to test yourself, come on down to the Area 6 Championships in Volusia. What have you found on the schedule, Steve?
Well, we've got the East Coast Steel Challenge Championship. That's on September 22nd, the same weekend as the Free State Championships, which is in Kansas. And then we have the North Carolina State Steel Challenge match, and that's the first of its kind. September 29th, we've got the Rimfire Worlds, and that's October 6th. Again, check out rimfirechallenge.org for a current match calendar, and then go to steelchallenge.com for the event calendar to find a match near you.
Who the heck is that? Hold on, everybody. Brian Hager, what are you doing here? Your interview's not for a couple of weeks.
Hey guys, it's Brian from Tandem Cross. I couldn't wait. I had to tell you that Tandem Cross and Brimstone are working hard together to bring something new to the table. You guys are going to love it. And if you want to find out what it is, you got to subscribe to our social media channels and our newsletter. We're always going to announce first in our newsletter. Can't wait to share this with you guys. It's going to be awesome.
Well, that's exciting. Thanks for stopping by, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
Steve, another great episode. I tell you, the numbers don't lie. We're getting a lot of listeners, and we seem to be doing something right. So I think we should keep doing what we're doing.
Sounds great, Jeff. And if anybody has any ideas or topics, we've got some high-profile guests coming on here in the next couple of weeks, some people that you'll be excited to hear from outside of you and I, Jeff. So if you have any ideas, please post to the Facebook page or send us an email, and we'll see you out on the range soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Don't forget, one shot, one steel.